What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hold the Phone podcast. I'm your host, Alex, joined today by my co-host, Ryan. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just a rainy evening in Roanoke. Excited because teams are kind of back in training camp, give or take a little, kind of.
Some of them?
Yeah. Lots of corona tests.
Is everyone back, or is it just the rookies?
Well, I think as the week progresses, everyone's going to come back.
Okay.
I think they started with the rookies, but I also don't think all the teams are actually vamped up doing it. I think there's still a few teams, if I remember correctly, last time I saw an update on the NFLPA Twitter account saying that there were 5 teams that are still in the review process of their COVID protection plan.
Yeah.
Plan, I guess. I think the Patriots were one of them, and I can't remember anyone else.
I'm trying to look it up right now. And it seems like a lot of reading, probably not worth it. But we've actually had, since the last time we recorded, we've had quite a bit of news, I guess you could say, for this off season with everything going on with COVID. Where do you want to start?
Do you want to start with today's news?
Yeah. We can start with the people that got signed today and the people that got cut. I guess first we can start with the Panthers cut their pretty long-term kicker. I want to say he was the kicker for 4, maybe 5 or 6 years, honestly. I guess they cut Graham Gano. It saves them $2.5 million in cap space, and it looks as if Joey Sly is going to be the new starter for the Carolina Panthers at kicker. I don't hate this move. Like I was telling you earlier on text, it makes sense. You save him money, and he's also 33, but I know kickers can kick forever. I just think it's more of he didn't handle the whole him being put on IR very well, if I remember correctly. I want to say he was very against the bringing in of Joey Sly. So that could have had something to do with it. And also I think it's just this team is trying to save as much cap money as possible. Joey Sly's 24, and his cap hit is probably nothing.
What's probably 700,000, if that.
675,000 for this year. So you save about $2 million, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a kicker. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like the move. At first, I was kind of confused because, I don't know, as a non-Panthers fan, I was kind of confused because all I remember of Graham Gano is, I mentioned this to you earlier, that clutch. Well, do you remember how long that was? It was close to 60 yards.
No, I think it was over 60. I want to say it was 63 is what my gut is saying. I'll look it up while you keep talking.
All right. Well, anyways, I just remember watching a Bills game. I can't remember what week it was, but I remember watching a Bills game. And while the Bills game was on commercial, I remember looking over. I mean, this was the Panthers playing the Giants. It was a close game all the way through. And I remember seeing Graham Gano just completely hammer this kick. And it gave you guys the win with I think 3 seconds left in the game. It was a complete buzzer beater, and he just nailed it right through the uprights.
It's the second longest kick of all time. The longest is 64 yards by Matt Prater. It was 63 yards.
Sheesh.
To give them the win. And I want to say that was one of the only wins they got that year. Wasn't that the year that they won 4 games or something like that?
Well, yeah, that was the start. That was the year that Cam started to really get hurt. I think that's the year you guys only won 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it on in the car today. What do you think are good landing spots for Gano? Because I think there are some teams that need some kickers.
Well, I'm trying to think right now who is the Bucs kicker, because
they've got a Gay. I can't remember his first name. Jordan Gay? No.
Mike Gay?
Yeah, there you go. I wanted to say Michael. I didn't know if I was right.
Well, on May 1st, they claim Elliott Fry. Do they have a kicker? Is he on the roster? Starting kicker.
I don't think they got rid of Michael Gay.
I'm trying to think. Who are other teams that struggle at kicker? The Chargers.
I was thinking of another team in Los Angeles, the Rams, because they just lost Greg Zuerlein and they kind of like did not replace him well, if I remember. And also the Giants, who just released Aldrick Rosas.
Yes.
I figured those two. I don't know if they're gonna see. Instantly, I was like, Gano's gonna be a free agent for like maybe a day. You're like, someone's gonna pick him up because like he's a good kicker, and like those teams desperately need a kicker because I think the Giants replaced Rosas with, I think Andrew Catanzaro, right?
Yeah, that's his name. But bro,
his name's Andrew.
I literally looked up Graham Gano, and the first two articles that came up are Graham Gano released by the Panthers, expect the Giants to be interested, and then the very next one is Graham Gano is available if the Rams are interested. So it looks like you nailed that pick, and those are definitely two teams that could use a kicker for sure.
If anything, if I was with how many big players they have on their payroll, I don't know how much cap they currently have, but if I'm the Rams, I would consider getting in a bidding war with the Giants because like in that competitive of a division, you can't be like, iffy on extra points and field goals. Like you're gonna need every point you can get, especially in that division.
Well, I can tell you the last contract he signed was for 4 years, $17 million, with 9 of it guaranteed. So he was making around $4 million a year.
That's a lot for a kicker.
That is a lot for a kicker. Maybe that's why when did he sign that? He signed it in 2018, so he still had 2 years left on it. So maybe that's why they ended up cutting him. But I like both of those teams. I just don't – do the Rams even have any cap room?
That's a good question. That is always the question. That's been the question since like 2016.
The Rams were reported – well, at least in April, they were over the cap room by $5.5 million. Are they still over it? Hang on. Their total cap space is $5.1 million. You could probably sign him for that much.
Yeah. Have like a quarter left over, but like
would I want to go to LA and play for the Rams or for the Giants? I mean, both are not great situations, honestly. I guess I would pick the Rams, but
we also have to think like who would be their holder. And I don't even know who the Giants punter is, but I know that Johnny Hecker is someone that a guy that like a lot of people like to work with. Like Johnny Hecker is first class from what I've heard.
Yeah, he's one of the best in the league for sure. Who is their punter? Do they have one? Is it a rookie? Giants punter. Riley Dixon.
Oh yeah, I did know that actually.
I did know that too. I don't know how I forgot. I guess
Johnny Hecker over Riley Dixon any day of the week.
Yeah, for sure. What were some of the other signings that happened? Some people got signed.
Well, I guess do you want to do today's news or do you want to kind of leak into the guy who opted out for the Chiefs?
Let's just put it all out there.
All right. Well, just about an hour or two ago, LaShawn McCoy got signed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He played a very limited role in the Chiefs offense last season, and before that, he was obviously in Buffalo. I was very excited by this signing, just because I, as a Bills fan, who kind of was housed McCoy for like 4 years, like I really like LaShawn. He's a good guy. He's a great player. I just don't. So obviously, I'm supporting him, but like. I just don't know if it's a good signing. It's good value because they got him for like $1 million, which is very cheap.
Yeah, it looks as if he signed for the veterans minimum.
And I mean, obviously they're going to ride with Ronald Jones for a majority of the carries, but like, I don't know, like LaShawn his running style doesn't match his age. Like he's kind of like Le'Veon Bell where he likes to like hesitate and find the right gap to go into, but now he's not as fast as he used to be and shifty as he used to be. So if he does that too long, that's like a 5-yard loss.
I think they're going to use him more as a receiving back than anything.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Brady had James White, and they would just move James White either out of the backfield, he'd catch passes, or in the slot. I think that's how they're going to use Shady, and then they're going to have Ronald Jones to run up the middle, kind of like Sony Michel. I mean, I don't hate it. It's just, can he stay healthy? That's the question.
They did also draft Keyshawn Vaughn, so they've got a pretty nice running back room now.
I'm trying to figure out how old is LaShawn McCoy. He's got to be like 30 something.
32, I think.
It's not terrible. Yeah, he's 32. That was good.
Know my Bills players.
I
But
mean,
no, I think also that's probably, I imagine that's also why they signed him, because they've got two young guys in that running back room that they probably want him to mentor a little bit.
yeah, I feel like he's going to do a pretty good job at that. And also, for him, you look at the Bucs team, you think there's a chance we can go to the Super Bowl.
He might be back to back.
He's out here ring chasing at this point, just trying to get more. Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting – it's a big name, but, like, it would have been way more exciting if he was 28 instead of 32. Like, but
I was about to say, like 3 years ago, this team would have been ridiculous with Gronk and LaShawn, but now it's kind of like these old guys in there, especially with how old Brady is. How old is he? Like 43 now?
I want to say, yeah, because I think he said he wanted to retire at 45. I think he's 43.
Honestly, now that he's out of my division, I really couldn't care less how long he stays in the league. Like, he could stay until he's 50 for all I care.
He's 42, but he turns 43 on August 3rd. That's crazy. Peyton Manning's only 2 years older than him, and I feel like Peyton's been retired forever.
He has been. It's been almost 5 years. Well, moving on, we also had linebacker Nigel Bradham, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, signed with the New Orleans Saints earlier today. I really thought so. To give some perspective, he came out and tweeted a few days ago, "Everything comes full circle," which obviously got Bills Mafia up in a tizzy because he's also a former Bills player.
Yeah.
That we all really like. He was a fan favorite because it's like he was a late round draft pick that started out as like a special teams player, and he evolved into this pretty decent linebacker.
Yeah.
And then our GM just let him walk in free agency, and obviously he went and had a pretty good career with the Eagles. So we were really excited because Lorenzo Alexander just retired, and obviously, I mean, we also got AJ Klein, so there's not really a hole, but also like having him back would have been really exciting.
Yeah.
So, but obviously that did not happen. He definitely got us to bite on that one, but I like the fit with the Saints because the Saints definitely needed some linebacking help.
Yeah, because especially after they passed on who was the guy in the draft that they could have drafted? Was it Queen?
Yeah.
And they took the center, yeah. And I mean, he's only 30. He'll be 31 by the time the season starts. So I mean, it's not terrible of a signing. Like, he's not super old. I just wonder how much he's going to actually play.
Yeah, I was about to say, if he's on the field, I feel like they're going to get some good football at him. But like that's the biggest question is like if he's going to be on the field.
For sure. It looks like he signed for the veterans minimum also, because I tried to look up his contract and there's nothing. So I'm going to guess he signed for the minimum.
That's crazy. Because he's good. Moving on, your division was just insanely active today. But the Atlanta Falcons, this is honestly, before I say anything else, this is probably my favorite signing of today. It makes the most sense. But the Atlanta Falcons signed Darqueze Dennard, who was a very good cornerback for the Bengals. I know a few months ago he kind of was close to signing a deal with the Jaguars, and then that fell through. So he's been a free agent all this time. But honestly, I like this fit in Atlanta a little bit better because, honestly, since March, Alex and I have been just cooking the Falcons secondary because we're like, every time we get to it, we're like, cannot name a single player in that secondary other than A.J. Terrell, who they drafted in the first round of the draft this year. I don't know. I really like it. I like that 1-2 punch with Terrell, and I think that's a veteran presence that they definitely need after losing Desmond Trufant. How do you feel about it?
100%. I think after losing Trufant, it was going to be a tough thing to throw A.J. Terrell in as your cornerback one, because your other one is Kendall Sheffield, and he's not going to cut it in this division. So you're going to put Terrell up against Michael Thomas, DJ Moore, and Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. Now you at least have, somebody that you can put in there. You're good, man. I see you out there trying to block the sun. Now you at least have a veteran that can come in and help Terrell, and you can also throw him out there on – I don't know if he plays the slot. I don't know what kind of corner he is, but at least you can put somebody with veteran experience out there to guard this star-studded receiving core that is the NFC South.
Yeah, I completely agree. It kind of helps them give Terrell a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah.
With how they use him, rather than like just forcing him on the top guy of every team they play. And I also kind of like that because it helps them bring him along more slowly than they would if he was like just forced into that role.
For sure.
But moving on, the last signing, not the last signing we're going to talk about, but the last signing of today was safety Curtis Riley, signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he played a few games with the Raiders last year. So not the biggest signing, but a signing nonetheless.
Yeah, he's in case somebody gets Corona signing to me.
That's right.
He's basically waiting on somebody to get injured or something for him to get a chance. Because, they got Minka and I want to say who is their other?
Terrell Edmonds.
Yeah, Terrell Edmonds. See, those are solid guys. He's not going to compete. He's definitely a second string, third string kind of guy. But it's a depth. And those come up clutch sometimes. You want to talk about some of the guys that are sitting out?
Yeah. So the guy who kind of kicked it off was Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, the I think right guard for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's one of their best guys. So that was definitely a big hit to them. He opted out, and honestly, he's got the best opt-out situation, man. He's a registered doctor. So he's going to be making that bank and helping people get better outside of the season.
He literally said, I'm opting out because if I'm going to risk getting Corona, I'd rather do it helping people than playing the game I love. And obviously, he's talented. He was their starting guard, so he'll have a job when he comes back. It's not like he's going to get cut.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple other pretty big signs. How do you feel about, real quick, Star Latulilae sitting out? What are your thoughts? Because I know you're a Bills fan.
Yeah, as Alex was saying, Star Latulilae, the starting defensive tackle, alongside with Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver didn't opt out, but started, which is pretty big. I feel like that's going to really impact our run game because he's kind of our run stuffer.
He's big.
But it also, I kind of enjoy it because, first off, Stars, I'm not a big fan of Star. I'll always back him up if someone's trash talks him, but because someone's like, he's not, we're paying him a whole ton of money and he's not getting any sacks. I was like, that's because he's stuffing the run gaps.
His job is to sit there and be a big man in the middle. Let the other guys do the work.
He frees up blocks for Ed Oliver and Jerry Hughes and Trent Murphy.
For sure.
Et cetera. But I don't mind it. Essentially because I'm a huge fan of Harrison Phillips. Harrison Phillips is playing great in 2019. He only played 3 games before he tore his ACL, which is very devastating, but he's been working very hard. So I kind of like it in a way because that's also a way for us to kind of shove Harrison back into that starting role.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't really gotten a fair chance because in 2018, his rookie season, he was kind of getting groomed by Kyle Williams to take over for Kyle Williams. And then in 2019, he tears his ACL. So he hasn't really gotten a fair shake of things.
I also feel like your defense is good enough that you can put a guy like that as your DT number 2 and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
He has a pretty solid defensive line around him. I was looking at the other people that have said that they're going to sit out. I think some of the biggest names are the Bears defensive tackle, Eddie Goldman. Yeah, Eddie Goldman. He's sitting out, which I think is a pretty big loss for them, honestly. He kind of does the same thing Star does, but he's way better. I think that's going to hurt Khalil Mack because he's going to get double teamed a lot more.
And Akeem.
And Akeem Hicks, both of them. I don't know who their other DT is.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you either. That's kind of like the Falcons secondary.
And then I just saw this one, which is kind of sneaking under the radar, but Devin Funchess for the Packers decided to sit out.
I saw that.
Which not only people are talking about, but that is kind of a big deal because now it looks like it's going to be I almost just said Devontae Adams. That's not his name. Is it his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Devontae Adams and whoever else they throw out there.
Alan Lazard.
Yeah, Alan Lazard. And then other than that, Kansas City's running back Damian Williams decided he's going to sit out. I think this is a mistake because I think he's going to lose his job.
Yeah, that was okay. Talking about the two you just talked about, I felt like the Funchess one definitely went under the radar because
for sure.
I felt like Adams has struggled so much and Rodgers has struggled so much lately because they need that extra wide receiver too. Yep. They've had too many young guys. They've drafted way too many guys in like the 5th round, hoping that Aaron Rodgers is going to turn them into studs. They need to get like a big name guy, and they got Funchess to be the number 2, and he opts out. So I feel like that's really going to hurt the passing game. Obviously, probably not too much. The Packers are still a title contender.
Yeah.
Nonetheless. But yeah, Damian Williams is just idiotic because they just drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire with their 1st-round pick. So that's basically asking for him to just take the job. I saw a stat that said Vegas actually improved his odds to win MVP by like 200 points.
MVP or offensive or rookie of the year?
MVP. Isn't that crazy?
First of all, a running back's never win an MVP, but
and if it is, it's gonna be CMC.
Yeah, or it'd be Saquon, somebody like that. They'd have to put the whole team on their back and carry him.
Yeah, Edwards-Helaire is not gonna be that guy.
No, I mean obviously he could be a fantasy MVP. I mean his fantasy stock is gonna skyrocket now because there's not another back behind him. And then we got to talk about it. The Patriots have 6 guys that are opting out. Now,
I'm over here like, let's go.
No, Ryan, you're not over there like, let's go, because the conspiracy is out, brother. They're tanking for Trevor. I know you don't think Trevor is the guy, but he's the guy.
You knew I was going to say that before.
He is the guy.
I don't know. Yeah, I saw that tweet too, and I laughed at it because it's like, what? Also, I guess while we're talking about it, we should name some of the big name guys that are doing this.
Oh yeah,
like Dante Hightower and Patrick Chung. I think those are only the names that you need to know. Like the rest, like
Marcus Cannon, he's their offensive tackle, but other than that,
yeah. So those 3 guys are going to be big hits. Obviously they've lost. I think they said that after Hightower opted out, they've lost their 4 best linebackers this offseason because Kyle Van Noy and Elandon Roberts both left to go to Miami. Oh, yeah. Jamie Collins with the Detroit, and now Hightower's opting out.
Yeah, we're about to see how good Stefan Gilmore really is because he's not going to have a stacked defense sitting there helping him, especially with Chung being out too.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, talking about that conspiracy theory you were talking about, I saw the tweet where it was like, I think it was a conversation with the general manager and owner somewhere where it was like, Bill is behind this. I don't know how, but he's behind this.
Well, here's another thing. They freed up like $22 million in cap. You know who's still sitting out there without a team?
Logan Ryan?
Clowney.
Oh. Well, both of those guys, honestly. But, yeah.
Logan Ryan, you could throw like $5 million and he'd be like, yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah.
But
it's also his former team.
What if you sign Clowney to like a 21-year, $20 million contract like Cam? Now, is it worth it? Probably not.
Nah. Well, they can't afford to keep him long term, though.
That's true. 2 other real quick opt-outs that I saw was Marcus Goodwin for the Eagles. That's a big one. I mean, the Eagles, I feel like they are just constantly having practice squad guys running routes for Wentz. Like, I feel like Wentz, I'm not that high on him. I do think he's injury prone, but at the same time, he could be like up there with the Deshaun Watson and the that tier of quarterbacks if he had any sort of help. His best wide receiver is Alshon Jeffrey, who is basically a glorified tight end because he's so slow. That might have been a little harsh.
Deshaun Jackson back though, and they have Jalen Reagor now. So
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah, last year I felt so bad for him because they just had so many injuries and like.
I mean, at one point he was throwing to a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
So like, just get the man some help, and it's not like the Eagles aren't trying. That's the thing is they are desperately trying to get him some help. It's just every time they do, somebody opts out or somebody gets injured. Speaking of actually the Green Bay Packers, I don't know why they're not calling the Eagles and saying what do you want for Alshon? Because the Eagles have already said that they're not that interested, that they would be willing to trade Alshon. So you desperately need another wide receiver. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. But
while we're talking about that, I actually just kind of thought I had a little light bulb moment where we were of a free agent that's available that could definitely fill Devin Funchess' place almost better than Devin Funchess actually would be. You already know where I'm going with it?
Kelvin Benjamin. I knew it.
No, that's okay. Way different wavelengths. I mean, if they need a tight end, sure. I was gonna say Taylor Gabriel.
Oh, true.
I really like
the pick. Yeah, I like that. I don't know why they haven't kicked the tires on AB also. I know he officially retired, but I don't know.
If AB plays this year, it's going to be with the Ravens, period.
I think so too. Or the Seahawks, one of the two. But speaking of the Seahawks, Chance Warmack, their guard, has opted out also. That's
which is so crazy because he just sat out last season, like unintentionally. Like he was just a free agent. No one picked him up.
Yeah.
So he had to work really hard to sign, and then he opts out.
Which is a loss for him and for the Seahawks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hold anything against players that opt out. I just thought that was a little like him and Damian Williams were kind of peculiar.
I don't get the Damian Williams one. The Damian Williams one, he basically said, "Here's my job. I understand that you are concerned about getting sick. I fully understand that. But unless I have like an underlying condition, like if he has asthma or something, more power to you, sit out. But other than that, I think you got to sit there and fight for your job, man."
You know who's a really big opt-out candidate that hasn't come out and said it yet, but he's a very high-risk person?
Who?
Mark Andrews. He's got a type 1 diabetes, and I'm expecting him to at least consider opting out.
Yeah.
So that would be a huge hit for the Ravens because, I mean, he's a Pro Bowler. He's a monster. I would put him in top 3 tight end competition, or no, maybe top 4 because I put Ertz, Kittle, and Kelsey, and then Andrews.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can wrap up the show with talking about the NFL 100 if you want.
Hold on. We're doing the Mahomes extension thing again where we're forgetting a really big piece of news.
What are we forgetting?
Jamal Adams.
Oh, my God, yes. Jamal Adams got traded for basically Seattle's entire draft class for the next couple of years. Now, I think we are on the same side as this, right? That the Jets clearly won this trade.
Yes and no. Well, I mean, yeah, in terms of, like, return, obviously, yes. But, like, I also like the move for Seattle. They just kind of got fleeced just a tad.
A tad. They gave up 2 first-round picks and a starting safety. They literally
– and a third-rounder.
And a third round. So they literally replace Adams with a guy that's not as good, but that team's already going to suck anyway, so you're trying to tank. So you replace your superstar who has an attitude with a guy that's going to come in and do his job. You get 2 first-round picks, which, granted, they're probably going to be high up in the draft. Package them together and trade up.
Well, it's going to be weird because, I mean, the Jets likely will suck, so their pick's going to be top 10 no matter what. But then the Seahawks are probably going to be like mid to late 20s.
Yeah, but if you have that pick and another first-round pick, you could take the 20th pick in this upcoming draft and next year's pick and move up to like the teens of this upcoming draft.
Well, who would they get?
Well, I mean, if Sam, shits the bed again, we're sitting there with Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence up there at the top. I don't think they'd ever do that because I think they're mortgaged on to. I mean, I don't know how you could – Baker, I understand how you can give up on. Even Josh Allen.
I would not – wait. What's up?
No. I'm thinking like if he came out and was like if he threw like 45 picks or something this year, you could move on. But Darnold is 21.
Yeah.
You can't give up on that.
I'm a division rival, and I have so much respect for Sam Darnold. I would not give up on Darnold either. I agree with that.
He's a kid. Literally, he's 3 years younger than both of us. Like, you could sign him to 2 more contracts, and he won't even be 30. Or he'll be 30.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He's so young.
He's also – it's crazy because he's really good. He hasn't had a supporting cast at all. His offensive line has been horrible his entire career.
Yeah, and then, of course, when you do draft an offensive lineman, you trade away his best weapon or you don't re-sign Robbie Anderson. And so now his best weapon's who? Jay Crowder?
Rashad Perryman, Denzel
and,
Mims.
and Denzel Mims. That's his starting lineup right there. Come on. That's a joke. But, yeah, I also understand the Seahawks side of things just because you're in win now mode. And you get an Earl Thomas replacement. They've been trying to replace Earl for years now. You're bringing in his replacement right now.
Okay, well, here's my thing, though. The Seahawks are, like, notoriously bad at making first-round selections. So, like, this isn't that big of a hit for them. They picked L.J. Collier in last year's draft, in the 2019 draft.
They picked some guy from Texas Tech this year that most people had as a third-round pick.
Yeah, I mean – yeah, Jordan Brooks. I think they might have actually done themselves a favor by doing this. They got somebody that they know is going to be a superstar rather than taking a third rounder in the end of the first.
The problem is going to be finding money to re-sign him.
Yeah, that's a very true fact. But I mean, I love the move for them because that division, I mean, we've talked about it so many times. That division is the best division in football. And if I'm being quite honest, I think every division game needs to be a primetime game. Cardinals, Rams, set it up. Monday Night Football. 49ers, Seahawks, well, that goes without saying. They were both primetime games last year. But, like, that division is dynamite, man. I don't know who's going to win. The team who, like, loses the division is going to be, like, 8-8.
I mean, you could argue that the worst team is –
I'd say the worst team is Arizona, which is crazy.
I'd probably say the Rams.
Yeah, both the Rams and Arizona are still very sus on defense. They've got, like, good players, but overall they've got also a lot of holes. So, like, that's why I'm kind of iffy. But their offenses are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, that division is – I want to say the best in the NFL, but you got to argue the NFC South. If Carolina shows any sort of promise at all, they're going to be the best team or the best division by far.
I don't know, man. I put you guys up there top three, no doubt. But, like, we're talking – okay, so, like, the thing is, though, is, like, in Week 17, that 49ers-Seahawks game, they were both, like, I think 12 or 13 win teams. Like, whoever won that game was going to be the 1 seed, and then whoever lost was going to be screwed and be the 5th seed. Like, and – the Cardinals and the Rams, well, the Rams got worse, actually, but the Cardinals got so much better, adding D-Hop and a bunch of other good guys.
And if Kyler takes any sort of a step.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, it's an electric division. I love the adding of Jamal Adams. I actually love the trade for both sides. I just think that they gave up a little bit too much.
I agree. They definitely, like, undoubtedly got fleeced. Not Bill O'Brien type fleeced, but, like, close.
Pretty much, though. All right. You want to wrap things up with talking about this NFL 100 list?
Yeah. I mean, we actually didn't talk a lot to each other through the whole thing, but who kind of surprised you?
I mean, I have all sorts of problems with this list, Ryan. First of all, Lamar Jackson, I'm sorry. I know this was voted on by the players. You shouldn't be number one.
Yeah, I think Mahomes should have been flipped.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think Lamar should be 4, Patrick should be 1. And this is bias of me, but CMC should be above Michael Thomas.
What was his ranking?
Michael Thomas is 5, Christian McCaffrey is 6.
That's a tough one, though.
They can flip-flop, but take Michael Thomas – I mean, take and put Michael Thomas on the Panthers last year. Come on. It's not even close. But put Christian McCaffrey on the Saints. I'm just saying. Now, here's where it gets a real problem is I don't know why, but I have real beef with Stefan Gilmore. Why are you at 9? Where's your guy? Where's White at?
47.
No, he's not. That's
47.
Hang on.
It's not a lie. And guess what? Same stats. Literally identical stats. Except Stefan Gilmore had, like, 2 pick sixes.
They have Aaron Jones above Tre'Davious White.
Criminal. They
No,
have Todd Gurley above
they have
Tre'Davious.
Richard Sherman at 28. Clearly,
Yeah.
I did not look at this list enough. What the hell is happening? Also, why the hell is Derrick Henry 10? I understand that he had a great season last year, but he should not be 10.
He carried that team to playoffs, man, though.
No, he carried them in the playoffs.
He also carried them They were like 2 and 4.
I guess. And then Ryan Tannehill came in and A.J. Brown popped off. I'm sorry, but
Ryan Tannehill threw like 16 passes a game.
Did you see that Ryan Tannehill's on this list?
He is.
At 68.
Yeah.
That is way too high.
Okay. Here's my problem. Okay, first off, I love Josh Allen with all my heart. Josh Allen asked for my kidney today. I'd probably think about giving it to him. But anyways, I almost shat my pants when I saw that he made this list.
Really?
Yeah, he's 87.
No, I know he made the list. I'm not that shocked by it. He had a really good season last year.
He did. He's a phenomenal player, but like I was just not expecting it. Like I didn't expect it for him to get that respect. I was really excited, but also the thing that gets me, and I saw our Eagle friends were kind of getting salty about this. Carson Wentz did not make this list. Carson Wentz should have made this list over guys. I hate saying this, but over guys like Josh Allen, over guys like Tannehill, and even freaking Jimmy G. Made it in the 40s. Jimmy G's rated higher than Tre'Davious.
He's in the 40s?
Rated higher than Trey. I think Jimmy's like 43, if I remember
Jimmy's
correctly.
rated higher than Dak.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Isn't that crazy? I want to know the players that voted on this because it clearly wasn't all of them. Because there's no chance that they put Jimmy G at 43.
All right, I'm going to turn on the lights.
Like, why is Todd Gurley on this list?
Yeah, that was a big head
Sorry,
stumper.
you didn't have that great of a season last year, bud. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, although I think the only Panther on the entire list is
CMC.
There might be one other one, but I want to say it might be. But, I mean, they didn't really deserve to have it. I mean, maybe you could have given DJ Moore, like, the high 90s, but –
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, what shocked me is Kyler made it. I did not expect to see Kyler Murray at 90.
Yeah. That's another guy where, like, I'm still happy Josh made it, but I feel like Kyler should have been.
I feel like
maybe
Zach Ertz is way too low. He's at 85.
You know who else is way too low? Jason Kelsey. In the 90s.
Yeah, that's insane.
He's the best center in the game, man. I'll show some respect to my Eagles guys here. That was ridiculous.
I'm trying to figure out where Minka is. Okay, he's 35. I mean, there's just a lot of problems with it, man. Like, I just don't get it. I don't understand. Yeah. Deshaun Watson, I feel like should be higher than 20. I think they should have switched Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers is 16. I would have put Rodgers at 20, Deshaun at 16. Tom Brady's at 14.
Way too high.
Put him in the 30s. He didn't have an incredible season last year.
I would even make the hottest take of saying that Tom Brady should not have cracked the top 75.
I'm not that mad at that. Honestly, also, D-Hop should be above George Kittle. I know it's only one spot. Kittle's 7, D-Hop's 8.
Yeah.
Hop up. And also, put Julio in the top 10. Just, please, why is Derrick Henry in the top 10? That just
Derrick Henry, I kind of, after listening to your take on it, I think I will agree with you. I think he maybe if he's lucky, crack top 15.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not mad at him being – I'm just mad that he's 10. Like, he could have been, like, 16, and I would have been like, oh, that's pretty good.
I'd put Watson above Henry also.
Yeah, Drew Brees is 12. I don't have a problem with I really wish it was Patrick Mahomes, Russ, Aaron Donald, Lamar. And then Mike Thomas and Christian McCaffrey, I don't have a problem with that either. I feel like they could have nailed the top 6 if they literally would have switched Patrick Mahomes and Lamar.
They got the top 6. They just got the order jumbled up.
And then the fact that Gilmore's 9 and Tre'Davious White is 47 is just true.
Well, it's exactly like their Madden ratings. Did you see – I mean, Gilmore's obviously a 99, and Tre'Davious was lucky to break 90.
I have – Ryan, I've fully bought in with you where I am – why is Tre'Davious White being hated on so much? I don't understand.
At this point, well, I know why. It's because he plays in Buffalo. But like, anyways, like it hurts my feelings. It makes me sad. I don't get it, man. It's just disrespectful. I don't think they watch the games.
I also just don't understand how Todd Gurley is 51.
Yeah, him actually breaking this, like, I was really excited about the list the first 2 nights. I was like, yeah, let's go. I saw Todd Gurley. I was like, this list is canceled now.
Like, I'm sorry. Hang on. Jarvis Landry is 61 and Odell is 59. Why are either one of them on this list?
It's not all about stats though, man. It's about like matchup problems and stuff like that. It's like the guys who are tough to game plan against. I think both of them should be on this list.
You think they should be that high?
I didn't say high. I think they should be on the list.
Where are they? Hang on. Well, they're not terribly high. They're 61 and 59, but still.
I don't know, man. I think Todd Gurley had no business even sniffing this list.
No.
Todd Gurley was not a problem for anyone in 2019, period.
I also feel like Allen Robinson, with what he does with Mitchell Trubisky being his quarterback, should have been higher than 93.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out who is the bottom one. So Levante David is number 100, then Darren Waller, Brandon Brooks, Budda Baker. I mean, they got the most part of it right. It's just there's some guys that they just totally missed on.
Did Mark Andrews make this list?
That is a good question. I do not see his name. Hang on. If he didn't, that is a travesty.
I want to be a hot take real quick. Darren Waller is not as good as Mark Andrews.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a pretty lukewarm take.
But,
yeah, me and you probably think the same. Some people will probably hate us for that. Unless Mark Andrews is in the top 20, I do not see him on here.
He's definitely not that high. If Zach Ertz like that low, that there's no way Mark Andrews.
Zach Ertz is 85, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Kelsey?
Kelsey was like top 30, I thought.
Kelsey is 18. There's that big of a difference between Kelsey and Kittle. Kelsey's 18, Kittle's 7.
And then I think the next tight end is Ertz at like 85.
Yeah, and then Darren Waller at 100.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is a little crazy. That's crazy that Logan Ryan is 60 on this list and he's still a free agent.
Yeah.
Also,
did
Larry Tunsil have a great year last year that I just didn't know about?
I mean, he was kind of like the leader of like a really crappy offensive line. Like he was like the bright spot of like otherwise a very horrible offensive line.
Okay, just checking. I wasn't sure because he seems pretty high on this list to me.
Where is he?
Well, I just had him and now I can't find him. Where the heck?
I think he's higher than Ronnie Stanley, and that's a problem.
He was just on here. I just passed his name. Is he in the 60s? Oh, he's 66. And Ronnie Stanley is 74. That's a
problem.
All right. You ready to wrap this thing up, man? You got anything else for him?
I don't think so, man. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, it's been fun. We'll be back next week with another episode for you guys. Have a good weekend. Please wear your masks because we desperately want football.
Yeah.
And the NBA's back, so enjoy that.